Here for another weekly analysis of the Nigerian stock exchange market. First on our list is UCAP, as usual. So based on our last week forecasts, we wanted a break of this downward trend line, which happened here, then a retest, then a pullback or a retest, then a continuation. So we're expecting price to go higher to this point, the fair value, or even take out this high. So we have some series of liquidity resting here and here. So we're waiting for this to happen. Cornerstone remains bullish. So dividends will be distributed come July. So we may need to wait for that because typically after dividend, right, disbursement, what happens is price will see a correction as a result of people pulling out their money. So we might see price come back here, then make a new break, then a pullback to continue higher because the fundamentals for Cornerstone remains bullish. So we're waiting for this. So we'll wait till July, which is 2 months time, right? Before we buy this. We need to wait after dividend. If you want to buy now, you're free to buy now, but it's best to wait for July. All right, on the flower is still bearish at the moment, so we need this break to occur. Once it happens, then a correction, something like this, and a little correction, then we buy. So this is still bullish. We're still bullish on the flower. Baker is currently trading around its intrinsic value, right? So at the moment, we just need to wait for this to keep going higher, but no trades should be taken yet. Just wait for price to keep playing around here, pending when we get, a new intrinsic value, which is higher than 55 or 51 Naira. So for now, no need to trade this. I already went in. I bought this stock at around 43 Naira. So it's currently at I think 16% or so on my Atlas portfolio C trader platform. So I'm currently in 16% profit on this. So there's nothing we can do here for now. Let's just wait, just play the waiting game for now. Alright, Wando, the fundamentals for Wando really changed. Initially, right, it was a bad stock due to its fundamentals, but right now it's a good stock. And again, the technicals, right, is currently has currently converged, right, with with the fundamentals. Why? This is a corrective structure, a break, corrective structure, a break, and a retest, a break, corrective structure, a break. So typically we're expecting price to trade higher. So the new intrinsic value for Wando is 64 Naira to 68 Naira. But based on technical analysis, we might see price go higher than that. So let's see. Why is this happening? What is going on? All right. I can't seem to get this to work. But let's see. So if we do a measured move from here, this is actually lower. Wow. Okay. If we should do a measured move from here to here, then the lowest part is from here to here. So the low of this part would be horizontal low somewhere here. I'm not sure why my mark why this is misbehaving. Alright, so we move this here. So we're expecting price to go as high as 108 based on our technical analysis projection, right? Measured move from year to year, from year to year. A, B, C, D, right? Technical analysis, wave pattern. This is a typical ABCD pattern, wave pattern, right? So based on technicals, we're expecting price to go as high as 108 Naira. But based on fundamentals, right, the intrinsic value for this stock is actually within 64 Naira till 268 Naira. So I'm currently on a buy. I already bought the stock. I think at around 49 Naira thereabout, 15 Naira I think. Okay, so I'm currently in, I think, 2% profits at this point. So we're waiting for this to break higher, to give us more profits. All right, charms. Charms at the moment, this is a bit tricky, right? Because we have two measures for fair value. So based on the tech growth and the hype around charms, right? Um, Experts forecasts the fair value to be around 5 Naira to 6 Naira. But based on the books, right, the DCF model, right, based on the net income, the cash flow, the PE ratio, the PB ratio, right, it's currently around 3.2 Naira to 3.5 Naira, which means that the stock is currently overvalued, going by this model. So this is a tricky stock to trade, very tricky one. And again, dividend is coming around July. It's coming by July, I believe. So it's best we just wait for July to come, and see if by July the fundamentals for DCF will change. If they'll make more profits, net income, gross income, and all that, to push the fair value higher, above 4 Naira. That would be great. But for now, if you think charms might do better, right, you can wait for this to pull back. Then you're free to buy after the pullback. But for now, I'll just stay away from charms for now. I'm going to stay away from charms. Alright, Mansard. Mansard is still bullish, very bullish. But we're just waiting for the technicals, right, to converge with the fundamentals. The fundamental is still bullish. So price actually broke this, right, but came back down, is retesting. So if this can, let's see what happened here. So if this can, can break higher above the moving averages, the alligators, right? This can break higher like this, a very strong break. Then we'll wait for a pullback. This is all we're waiting for at the moment because the fundamentals are really good. They will trade higher to the intrinsic value at around 17 Naira to 19 Naira. So that's what we're looking for. But based on technicals, we can easily get, impulse corrective. So we can get this move, this measured move here. I'm not sure why this is acting up at the moment. Well, I'm pretty new to TradingView. I'm more of an MT5 person. Interesting. Let's see if this will work. I can't believe this. Okay, let's work with this. I think this is fair enough. So if we do a measured move from year to year, right? We take this out, then we try to get the lowest of this right here. Can you imagine? So we put this here. So based on technical analysis, we should be aiming at a value close to 23 Naira, right? But based on fundamentals and fundamental analysis, we should be good at the fair value for this stock is actually at 17 Naira 70 kobo. So we're waiting for this. I'm looking to buy Mansard. I just need to see this pattern play out, This will tell us we're ready. This will tell us that Mansard is ready for an uptrend. But for now, we'll stay put, even though there's a break. of this downward trend line at around here. All right, FCMB. FCMB, at the moment, we're still waiting for this move, to come down. The fundamentals remains the same, still bullish. So if you can get this to come down, break out of here, retest, then we'll buy to meet the intrinsic value of 14 Naira 65 kobo and even go higher based on technical analysis. So we're waiting for this, waiting for FCMB to come lower. And Stanbic Bank. Stanbic Bank is May 26th, which is tomorrow, basically tomorrow, Tuesday. So after dividend, I'm expecting price to go lower. I'm expecting it to go lower because people typically take off their money after dividends. After dividend disbursement, so it should go lower, which is very good for us. Even lower, I really would like that. Then we adjust this accordingly. Then it break, then it pull back, then go higher. So the fundamentals for Stanbic is still looking bullish. So we just need to wait for dividend, right, to bring this price down a little for us to get it cheaper. All right, Sterling Nigeria. Sterling Nigeria is a bit tricky at this point because price, let's see what happened last week. Price broke out of this downward trend line, right? It's going higher at the moment, so I think I would wait for price to break this low right here, all of this low here. Liquidity is resting there, come back here. So I still maintain my last week's bias for this price to come lower, then break, then go higher, break off this trend line. I'm not sure why this is acting up today. All right, so we're still waiting for a lower, for price to go lower. Then our J's Bank at the moment still looking bullish. The fundamentals are still good, right? But we want a break of this trend line, this little trend line, just a break. I think a full body candle close above this, a Marubozu close above this downward trend line, downward correction will signify buy. So you can buy from there to take it higher to 12 Naira, which is the fair value for this stock. Transcore is really like is really aggressive at this point. Nonetheless, we're looking for a pullback. We've gotten our breakouts, right, as predicted. Let's get rid of this. Now we're looking for a pullback, a deeper pullback actually. Maybe a couple of corrections, then we'll buy. So the fundamentals are still good, right? This stock is doing well, the company is doing well, the hotel and everything is doing well. So we just need a pullback, then a buy. Somewhere around here. This is the intrinsic value for this. All right, UBA. I think UBA is still correct at this point. So we're waiting for UBA to drop lower. I still maintain this bias to drop lower, break off this trend line, retest, then buy to the intrinsic value of UBA, which is around here, or even go higher. But let's be conservative enough to place it here. Let's not be carried away by emotions. Alright, so we're looking for a correction similar to this, then a break, a retest, then buy. Similar to this, a break, retest, then buy. So we're looking for that, right? Break, retest, buy. Same thing, same pattern every time. Alright, our Guinness Nigeria. Guinness is still, we still maintain this bias, right? We're looking for a pullback. Not that. A pullback, then, a break, then a correction, then, a push to the upside. Still bullish. We're waiting. Mikio is above its intrinsic value already. So we're staying away from this. We want price to come back down below its value. Hopefully. Hopefully the intrinsic value will change again to something higher, but it's currently at 74. So it's currently overvalued. Mikio at the moment is overvalued. That does not mean it can go higher. It can, but at the moment it's safe. We get the stock cheaper. It's currently overvalued. It needs to come lower for us to get it cheaper and possibly go higher. Should the fair value be high, provide us a good margin of safety. Alright, MTN Nigeria. MTN Nigeria is still bullish. We want it to come down. We still maintain our bearish, our corrective sentiments. Come down, give us a break, give us a retest, then we'll buy. We buy up to the intrinsic value of 910 Naira. Mia. Mia at the moment is still lower than its intrinsic value, but it tapped it last week, which makes this very tricky. But we can still buy this, But a tricky one at the moment. I think it's best I just, I'm gonna stay away from this. Stay away from this rather. Alright, access call. Yeah, we still maintain this, our bias for this. We still want the push, the pullback, which we've gotten already. We've gotten this pullback already. As predicted, we've gotten this, so we should get rid of this guy. Now what is left is for this to come down. Yeah, it can come down lower, right? Break out of this trend line, give us a correction, then a continuation, then we can buy. Similar to what happened here. It came here, right? It broke out. It broke out of this, gave us a retest, continuation, and buy. Came out of this, a corrective structure, break out of this trend line here. If I can draw this, broke out of this corrective trend line here. Can you imagine? Right? Can't believe this is happening. Let's go to the H4. I'm not so familiar with TradingView, but I'll try my best. Let's see if this will work. The same thing. Alright, so the same thing, right? Corrective structure, break, retest, buy. Corrective structure, break, retest, buy. Corrective structure, break, retest, buy. So that's our forecast for this. So we're waiting for this to break lower. Fidelity Bank. Let's take this back to the daily charts for clarity. Fidelity Bank is living without us. Living without us, exactly. I'm not gonna chase this. I still maintain my bias. If it goes without us, it's fine. But I still maintain my bias for price to come lower. Give us some corrective structure so we can get some liquidity pool. So I still maintain this. Price to come lower. Break out, retest, then buy. Very similar to what's happened here. Corrective structure, breakout, retest, buy. Corrective structure, breakout, retest, buy, retest, buy, retest, buy. So we're waiting for the same thing to happen here, right? Corrective structure, breakout of the corrective structure, retest of the trend line, then buy. GTCO. GTCO is still bullish. We're waiting for a corrective structure before we go long. Zenith Bank, same thing, very similar. Waiting for this to come down, then buy. It's currently too high. Alright, same thing here for Wema Bank, corrective structure, break, retest, buy. Dangote Sugar is currently overpriced, so we'll wait for this to correct before we know what next to do. Northern Nigeria flour mill is currently overpriced, right? Overvalued. So we ignore this for now. Dangote Cement is currently overvalued. We ignore this for now. PZ, ignore this for now. Sona Assurance, ignore this for now. The fundamentals are weak. Alright, thank you very much. See you another time. See you next week. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye for now.